right, boys and girls, does this look familiar? Because it should. Here are the notes that we took on perimeter before we left for our spring break. And I want to just kind of go over some of those notes and remind you of what we learned and what we did before we left. Before I get started, I do want you to remember that you need to be working on your DMP for this week as well, getting that done so that you can keep all those skills sharp in your mind. All right, so when we did perimeter, we talked about how perimeter was the distance around a figure. The outside of something, a fence, that is not how you spell fence, a fence, or a picture frame. And we drew some figures over here, and we were showing just the outline of those figures. We looked at it in two ways. We looked at the perimeter of a square and the perimeter of a rectangle. When you're looking at the perimeter of a rectangle, okay, you are looking at this side plus this side plus this side plus this side. There's a couple of ways you can look at that. You can do length plus width plus length plus width, or you could do, which is what is right here, length plus width plus length plus width, or you could do 2 times the length and 2 times the width, which looks like this, 2L and 2W. And we did a couple of different examples with this one. So here we have a rectangle that had a length of 22 feet and had a width of 9 feet. If we do it the addition way, we've got 22 plus 22 plus 9 plus 9. 22 plus 22 is 44. 9 plus 9 is 18. Add those together, and you have a perimeter of 62 feet. That means if you were going to walk around this area right here, it would be 62 feet. If you want to do it the multiplication way, if you want to take 2 times the length and then 2 times the width, I can take 2 times 22 because that was the length. I can take 2 times 9 because that was the width. So I'm adding 44 plus 18, I get the same answer, 62 feet, okay? If we want to do a square, remember that a square is equal on all sides. So if this side of the square is 62 centimeters, then all the sides of the square are 62 centimeters. So I can do it 2 ways. If I'm going to do the addition way, I can do 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, which gives me 64 centimeters. It would be 64 centimeters all the way around. Or I could do 4 times 16, which would give me 64 centimeters all the way around. Either way, okay? So think of it like this area over here on my floor. All right, so I have, oh, there's my finger. That didn't take long. So I have some of my tile pieces here, and I put some tape around them. And as you can see, there is 3 columns and 2 rows. It has 3 as its length, and it has 2 as the width, okay? Now, I've already measured these, and hopefully you will trust me that each one of these is exactly 1 foot. So if I were to measure the perimeter of this right here, I would be measuring, this would be 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet. Because I would be taking all of those edges and adding them together, or you could say I'm going to take 2 times the length and 2 times the width. Whereas this is a square, okay? And it's 2 feet on this side. So the perimeter would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, don't fall, 7, and 8. The perimeter would be 8 feet because I'm taking the rim. I'm adding together all of the edges, or for a square, I'm multiplying it by 4 over here, adding together all of the edges of this rectangle, or doing 2 times the length and 2 times the width. All right, now, if I were to do the area, this is what we did on this day, right here, okay? Area is all of it. all of it together, all of the inside of something, all of the tile floor, all of the surface of your desk, all the carpet, all the paint on the wall, all of those things, the whole thing. So this would be, if we were doing a square, it'd be all of this area that we've colored in, not just the area, not just the rim of that particular figure. So we drew a 6 foot by 8 foot rectangle. We did 8 feet across, and we did 6 feet down. All right, we know that if a rectangle is 6 feet on one side, it's also 6 feet on the other side. If it's 8 feet on one side, it's also 8 feet on the other. But for area, we are not adding together, we are multiplying. Area is the length times the width. So if we were to count all of these square units, square feet, we would get 48. Well, I don't want to have to do that every single time I have a figure. I don't want to have to look at it and create these squares and count all the squares. So much, much easier to take the length times the width. And if I take the length times the width of this rectangle, I get 48. With a square, which is this one right here, we drew this. We said that it was 5 centimeters. And if it's 5 centimeters on one side, that means it's 5 on all. So the way we look, if we're going to do length times width of a square, doing the side times the side, then that's 5 times 5 is 25. The area is 25 square centimeters. And over here, 48 square feet. All right, if you want to look at it on my tiles, you can look at it this way. Here I have my square. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 square feet. 4 square feet. And I can either do it, I can count it, or I can say, okay, I know that this is 2, 1, 2. So if 2 times 4 would give me, no, 1, 2, 2 squared would give me 4. Over here on this side, I can see that this is 3 feet by 2 feet. 3 times 2 is 6. And how many tiles do we have? We have 6. All right. So let's look at the activity. I don't want us to call them assignments. The activity for today looks like this. Now, most of this is just going over basically what we went over. Looking at the perimeter. The perimeter is the distance around a closed two-dimensional figure. Perimeter of a rectangle can be found by adding the measures of the sides, length plus width plus length plus width, or the length times 2 and the width times 2, just like what we looked at in our notebooks. The length of this rectangle is 5 and the width is 3. So looking at this one right here, the length is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the width is 3. 1, 2, 3. So you have 2 choices on how to look at this. You can do 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3, or you could do 2 times 5, 2 times 3, and add that together. Either way, you're going to get a total of 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's the perimeter, okay? All right. So on a square, here you have, this is 1, 2, 3. And because a square is the same on all sides, 4 times 3 is 12, the perimeter would be 12. Looking over here at the area, area is the number of square units that are needed to cover a region without gaps or overlaps. The area of a rectangle can be found by multiplying the length by the width, length times width. The length of this rectangle is 5, the width is 3. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Multiply 5 times 3, you get 15. With the square, 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So with the same figure, you would have 16 would be the perimeter of this rectangle. 15 would be the area. On the square, 12 would be the perimeter, because that's just looking at this right here. Okay? Whereas 9 would be the area, because it's all of this. Okay? And you have to look at it over here. 16 would be the perimeter because it is this right here, whereas 15 would be the area because it is all of that. All right, so remember that you have a couple options with doing this assignment. Hopefully most of you have printed this so that you can be working on it with me and you can be writing the answers on here. If not, remember you can always write your answers down on a piece of paper. You could just write page 250 and then basically write number 1 and number 2 and write the answers down so you're not going back and forth from the video to the actual assignment. All right, so it's asking us really simply, what is the area of this figure right here, okay? Well, there's a couple things you could do. You could say, oh, that's easy, I'm just gonna count them. If you count all of them, that would give you the area. But you could also look at it this way. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 6, and 2. All right, so for area, we learned that it is the length times the width. So the length is 6 times the width is 2, which would be 12. And to check ourselves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Whereas the perimeter is actually looking at taking the 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2. Okay. So remember with this one right here, we did 6 times 2 because it's the length times the width. Okay, but for perimeter, we either are going to add 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2, or we could take 2 times 6 and add that to 2 times 2. All right, so I'm going to take the 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Because remember, we're doing 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2. All right, so and then you need to think about, why do you think area is described in square units instead of units? So when we're talking about area, why do you think we use the description square units and not just units by itself? And you'll be answering that question. All right, so make sure that on your activity on the slide, that, oh, there's my thumb, that you are doing this one right here. Make sure that you insert your text box to type in your answers for number 1 and number 2, and then make sure you answer the question down there at the bottom. All right, have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.